Welcome back to AI Oversight weekly session. We have a fantastic guest today and a really interesting topic. So a couple weeks ago, we have been hosting the session with Berhard Brauer about transition intelligence, and we got over 100 people interested to learn more about transition intelligence. So today we bring the personal story from the Fortune 500 leader who have been in dual transition. So Yasha Dandor is somebody who is going to share his story today, how he have been personally transitioning himself as a Fortune 500 leader, but also how he helps companies and community to transition into new reality. So before Yashadan introduce himself, I want to remind our audience a little bit more about what really transition intelligence is, right? So you can hear this session fully recorded on YouTube if you missed us today. So you can watch at your time and please ask us questions. We always answer back. So transitional intelligence is a new terminology which just came recently. So we all remember about different type of intelligence. So what is transition intelligence? It's ability to recognize different stages of life transition, right? So this could be your career transition, could be your family transition. Also, this could be the company transition, right? So why this topic is so important? Because many companies are going now through enormous technological data AI transition. And for companies successfully and for people successfully to go through the stages, so there are 5 pillars of life transition or company transition we have to look at, right? So first of all is psychological transition, right? So it's about how we think. So do we see transition as an opportunity for the positive change, for trying something new, getting into something new? What is our beliefs and perceptions? So then have a purpose. Like what is the purpose of this transition? So then personal transitions are usually, could be coming through life stages, right? So like, for example, myself, my kids are now in the college. So I'm also in my family personal transition right now. So then there are psychological side of the transition is like what is our cognitive health, right? So how we feel about this type of change. What type of sensitivity we might have in our life. So then also making sure that we actually stop in grief about something which was in the past. And so when Berhard myself talked about this, we had a lot of analogy about senior executives who are losing identity because of the life changes. And it is really important. Do not think about the losses, right? Think about more positive what is coming next. And also in professional transition is kind of like, retirement, career loss, job loss, reskilling, or actually promotion, because promotion is also the transition, which does require the skills. So before we go to Yashidan's story, quick grounding us into 3 aspects, right? So we're going to talk today about mindset required for successful transformation and transition, the community and support you might need from others and providing to others. And also there are tool sets, right? So the tool sets which might be helping you as a leader or helping the company when you're going through the transition period. So thank you so much, Yashidan, for coming and joining us. So can we start from your quick introduction? Can you introduce yourself? And then I can add how I know you.
Thank you. Absolutely. First of all, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Elena, thank you for inviting me for this podcast. Super excited how we are going to work on this remaining time here. Quick introduction about me. I studied way back in India, a couple of engineering degrees, then MBA in USA from University of Minnesota. I did my exec education from UC Berkeley and a couple of diplomas from Johns Hopkins, again online, based on my family situation. I had to do everything online. So I did something from Johns Hopkins. And then very recently, about a couple of years back, I did something from Kellogg. Lifelong learner. I worked with one of the Fortune, 5 company in healthcare. Last 4 years, I started my own company to help with the data strategy and AI enablement. And I have about 4 or 5 clients. And I also I'm passionate about giving back to community. I've started a couple of scholarships so that people can actually do hands-on development. uh, Luckily, we have something called AI and Claude and Codex and GitHub Copilot. So a lot of students are actually building a lot of things. Um, so I started some scholarships to encourage that. Uh, that's pretty much about me. I'll pause here, and I would like to add your thoughts here. How do you know me, and how was that thought process?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ishadan, for the kind of for introduction. So I always have a personal story about guests who are coming. So we met really suddenly. So Yashadan was somebody who just texted me on LinkedIn and said, you know what? I think we have so much in common. I think we should have a conversation, right? And we started this conversation over 3 years ago. And during this time, we have been connecting on different topics, sharing ideas. So even, giving each other advices, maybe in some clients Yashadan had, and how to bring the story, how to build maybe some solutions, right? So some feedback I was given saying like, I disagree with it, right? But you always have a different type of arguments, right? So so this is how we, know each other. So I think it's maybe I'll start from my kind of first question is because you build your career as a senior leader, and you worked for banking industry, then for healthcare. I think this is where we have a common ground. I mean, me also coming from a lot of healthcare years of experience. So and suddenly you're finding yourself in transition point, right? So as a leader with enormous background in the commercial transformation and data transformation. And it's kind of attempting is to go the same road, right? And like, you know what, I'm just going to get another Fortune 500 job, right? But you decided to make this pivot. So, and recreate your career. So why you do this? Like what made you to decide actually to make this pivot?
That's a great question. First of all, I think you put that slide, right? There are 6 pillars of transition. I think the last pillar is where I think you're asking me. So my answer is behind every successful man, there is a woman. And in this case, it was my wife. So I was being let go as many other leaders at one of these Fortune 5 companies that I worked, healthcare giant. And I was kind of applying for roles, and the roles were there, but they were kind of asking me to move from my current place. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they asked me to move. And kids are in a situation where they're like settled, and I didn't want to change. And my wife said, like, hey, you have a couple of engineering degrees and then MBA. You worked with smaller companies, bigger companies, and you have successfully transitioned. Why don't you start something of your own? And I said, hey, look, I can start something of my own, but maybe at times the times are tough now, because that was the advent of AI. On December of 2022, November, December timeframe, ChatGPT started, hey, we are coming. And here's January 10th, and I was being let go. And I said, maybe we won't have a paycheck. And she says, I'm there for supporting. And that confidence that my wife provided was something good, because you provided that, right? There's a mindset, then there is a community, and then there is a tool set. So
Yep.
this is my community. And that's what I'm going to ask our my friends and other leaders. Like, you got to find that community. Without that community, it could be your spouse, it could be your friend, it could be your well-wisher. You got to find that, because without that, that transition is very difficult.
Yep. No, I could not agree more, right? So and this is where I'm personally in a mission to to provide the support to community. I might not have enough time to coach every single director who want to grow, and they still want to be like in a corporate world, right? But there are so many changes, and even helping them in transition, right? Because you mentioned like through your volunteering work, helping people to build, helping students to build, right? So yeah, community is super important,
Super
right?
important. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe my next question, because I remember the moment when I personally started growing into leadership ranks, right? And my largest team I have been leading was over 1,000 people. And I kind of got into the moment that I'm just missing so much to go into details, because I do love to look into like business problem. I would love to solution this business problem, right? So I don't want to be in a constant conversation, like managing the org, managing the tasks, but not really gets my hands dirty, right? So this was something I was missing out, and I was actually given a warning. Some members of my team, don't try to grow so fast because you might be missing this out, right? So for years, senior leaders had a career track of, you want to be promoted, your job is not about doing job anymore. Your job is about managing people. As high you go, managing people, managing people. So many senior leaders, super experts, they got far away from building, right? But AI is changing this assumption. So how do you see this for yourself right now?
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic question, and it's like bringing my memories from memory lane. Uh, you're absolutely right. As a leader, my job was to kind of build partnerships, right, with other leaders, build the trust, and that aspect is always going to be there, right?
Yep.
But think about it, right? Like I love food analogies, right? Because I love cooking myself personally. So how about like you never cooked, and I can't present the dish to Elena, right? You got to taste the that food, right? If I cooked a dish for you, I should taste it out. So AI changing that, right? AI changing the entire thought process, and your role as a leader is not going to change. Your trust building capability is going to be the prime motive, but now you are basically going to not need like millions of dollars before even you start building the POC. I think you can start building a POC with one or two trusted advisors, or you can build it yourself, and AI can actually make that happen. Quick and dirty thing. As one of the companies in Bay Area, right, Meta, and many of probably the audiences probably can connect with this. Fail fast. You got to start teaching yourself, how can I fail fast? And I would probably say that instead of fail fast, I kind of not like that, because I want to succeed fast. But in order to for succeeding fast, you have to build something by yourself. So AI is actually giving you those tools. So again, going back to your slide, right? There's a mindset, community, and toolkit.
Yep.
You got to have that mindset, and then AI is actually going to give that tool set. That is the key. So think about that tool set. Like earlier, I need to build a POC, $500,000. I don't know whether it will work or not. No, now you can build a tool set for like $50,000, $60,000 with one or
Yep.
two people. And that is super important. And this is the simple framework that you're bringing. And I love this, because this is what AI is kind of changing. You got to have your mindset on your own. You got your support from community, which could be your spouse, which could be your team, and now you have AI, which is your tool set. Done. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is wonderful. So I want to ask you, what was your like aha moment? You just mentioned that like December 22nd, AI is coming, right? So then, January 23rd, you find it like, okay, I'm gonna be like transitioning, right? But can you like describe this moment
Yeah,
is when you said like, you know what, I can actually build this myself.
yeah. I think I was invited as a consultant for one of the kind of you know uh, data advisor slash sales strategy leader for
Mhm.
a healthcare company, nonprofit in Bay Area. and they're like $100 billion nonprofit, many hospitals, many team members. And I never played the role of sales strategy leader. But if you think about it, my role was, who is your customer? And
Mhm.
you need to kind of know your customer. And I used to provide that information through data in my past 20 years life, whether it is US Bank, United Health Group. And then actually campaign would be built, right? So now that entire thing is changed by AI. So when I started asking for, hey, I can actually build a model to help my sales strategy and increase the sales, I need to have a team of 4 data scientists. Like typically that's what I asked. And I didn't get the budget because budget was focused on sales and everyone is scrambling for budget. I asked the leader, hey, can I go and build this myself? So I put in my time
Mhm.
and use the tool set. That time it was ChatGPT, and it didn't have the entire AI agentic framework and
Yeah.
VS Code integrated with your backend. And also, I had to be a hacker in a way. And I built this out, and I deployed a simple lead targeting model, a traditional lead targeting model where you can build like gold, platinum, silver. And I deployed the model, and I used that model built on Databricks to improve my sales. And then I said, oh my god, I could do this. I can build this. So that was my aha moment, and it actually helped me because we changed the status quo, and it was a data driven, model driven approach. We increased the sales for Medicare by 17%, and for individual family by about 13%. And again, it's a teamwork. It's not just me. I had a tremendous support from my leaders, tremendous support from technology teams, tremendous support from execution team. But that aha moment was there, like, wow, I can do this. That's all.
Yep. Yep. No, I have my own story here, which I told you, but I can tell my to audience, right? Because for quite of a long time, when I was still working for like being like a full-time operating executive, right? So I had a dream almost, right? So my dream was how we can help people to adopt data and AI. And when I mean to adopt, is actually to help them to understand why technology is not your enabler. Data is not your enabler.
Yeah,
Having all these data teams sitting in silent way, this is not the future, right?
yeah, yeah,
So and I was thinking it's actually comes into new ways of leadership development. We need to develop the new leaders who have a human capability to work with data and technology as leaders, as business leaders, right? So when I started designing the product way before ChatGPT and everything, and I talked to investors, and it came as enormous build cost and really big commitment from me, right? And I put it on hold. But when AI came, I was able actually to launch this product, right? So this is like my personal journey because I realized that it's really different. Like launching the product is not the problem anymore. The problem is more is like who is your customer and what your problem you actually solving, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So maybe going a little bit more into this leadership, right? So is the future is not just becoming, technologist, right? So we're not saying that every business leader needs to become a technologist. Absolutely not, right? But we definitely want them to work with technology as one of the business tools, right? So what capabilities senior leaders need to start kind of, think about so they can start moving themselves into the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's an awesome question. I can first of all think that, a couple of thought processes to think here, right? If you can bring the next slide, please.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean this slide. Okay, this is good. No, the prior slide. So I think you got to have your own credential, right? So you have to have your subject matter expertise. You are, as a leader, you are known to build the trust that is given to you. I think that is going to be super critical because you're going to start giving the direction to your teams. Not only that, I think now with the AI, you can do prompt engineering. You can actually ask questions because you know why you're building some tool, or why you're building some use case. You know that there is some strategy behind it. You also know what, because for over years, 10 years, 20 years, you know, like what is art of possible. You know, like, hey, here's how that dashboard is going to look. And I'm going to build the data, bring the data in different ways. You know that.
Mhm.
Versus a college fresher who just passed out, they don't know what is supposed to be done. So what I'm trying to go is like, you know why and you know what. Now you need how. And probably, as you correctly said, right, in your career and even in my career, we actually kind of went away from that how part. We started there as an individual contributor, eventually grew in the leadership role, right? But now with AI, you're going to start focusing on that how aspect. Since you know that, hey, I need a dashboard to give me insights and not just a report, right? Now you know, like, okay, I want that dashboard to actually give me insight and not just a report. And I need a financial lens on top of that. I need to bring a ROI, because what is important, if you'll ask me, is like the ROI aspect, which is what is missing in today's conversation, even in AI, right? Everyone talks about, data foundation. Everyone talks about AI governance, and I'm not denying these aspects at all. We got to have solid data foundation, solid data strategy. We got to have the AI governance. I'm not denying. What we need to start thinking about is like ROI. What's going to be my ROI for my use case? And if you think about it, right, many of my clients, they're just putting the use cases for the sake of use cases sake. They're not thinking about ROI. And totally understand, you're kind of building, so it's going to take some time. So ROI will come. You have to also think about adoption, right? You have to also think about like execution aspect, and adoption is like how you're going to start building the culture. So when you're thinking like what the leaders need to think about, they have to think about ROI, they have to think about adoption. And there are so many aspects after you build your POC. For example, like, have you done the risk review? Have you done the secure by design review? Have you done your architecture review? Have you done thought about like introduction of this use case to your IT team? So many aspects come after that. A newbie is not going to think that. As a leader, you're going to think about it. So you think about building the POC, you think about all the aspects that we spoke about, which is data strategy, AI governance, ROI, and adoption. And then after that, you start thinking about building the culture in your organization. So those are the kind of aspects you need to start thinking as an AI leader.
Thank you so much, Yashodhan, for sharing. I mean, I really like how you brought actually different aspects as a culture. I would argue start from culture first, right? So, but because culture can eat strategy for breakfast, right? So, this is something which I can hear more and more. But definitely, I mean, I love your focus on return on investment and focus on how we can make the adoption of technology. What is interesting from my personal experience, and you are kind of like 100% somebody who is confirming this, right? So I know so many successful founders who have been leaders, the business leaders, because they have deeply understand, like, sales process, for example, like yourself, right? So commercial process, how to create the value from the sales, right? And then they suddenly become the founders of really interesting technologies, platforms, or educational services, like go-to-market approaches. Enormous. I mean, like one guy I know here, he's actually left healthcare early digital wave, and he found the company to build the mobile application for healthcare because he understood engagement with patients. And it's a multi-million company, right? So he's like serving top companies in the healthcare, right? Or other leaders who found the data problem and they left and built a data company, right? So actually solving the data problem. So if you have the business knowledge, if you know the what part, the why part, then AI is now can help you with how part.
Yes.
Right. So I think this is it's like, don't be afraid of how part, because I think this is what we have been afraid before. Now you actually can be much easier on a how.
Yeah,
because it's much easier
absolutely.
to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think some people might be listening us, and I know so many in my network who keep asking is, you know what? I feel I have a knowledge. I know this what. I know this why, but I'm just so afraid to start. Right. So if senior leader, executive, even board director is watching us today, and the person might feel that AI is moving faster than the career, and they don't know what to do. What would your advice would be for them to do next 30 days?
Yeah, I think first thing I would say that is for next 30 days, stop listening to all the news, stop reading about AI, stop getting like 50 Instagram messages or Facebook messages or WhatsApp messages or Twitters. I think what you really need to do is you need to pick up any tool, any platform like Codex, ChatGPT, uh, Claude Code, GitHub Copilot. Start thinking about, like, I have a brilliant idea, but I need to now start using something over next 30 days. And literally, if you start investigating, hey, I'm going to build a simple use case. And this simple use case could be, hey, I get, like, for example, like, probably you can connect with this, right? Like, I used to get anything between 400 to 500 emails in a day,
Mm-hmm.
right? When I was leading the AI and data science team. And you can build a simple email categorization tool. Pick up that, or pick up something where you're spending time. Is this important for me? And that particular use case, you can actually use automation like AI tool like Claude or Codex, and start automating that use case. So my point is, like, don't wait for, oh, I'm going to get some training, I'm going to get a beautiful opportunity, I'm going to find time. No, I think you have to make some sacrifice. You have to find rule. You have to probably, again, going back to your slide, right? Like, you have to have that mindset. So start firmly that I'm going to be redundant at some particular time. I have to do something today. Start investing into yourself right now today. Pick up one or two use cases that are super important for you, where you're spending most time, or they're super cumbersome. Start simple. Pick up a tool. Any tool is equally good or bad, right? So you will have to have that experience, right? I'm going to feel like stupid, right? Like, I'll tell you personally, I felt stupid when I came from some engineering background and masters and MBAs and whatnot. And when I started talking to ChatGPT 4 years back, I felt like stupid. I was like, oh my God, this guy knows more than what I can think of, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to think about here is, you have to start feeling that vulnerable, right? And that vulnerability, you should use it for your use. Start building that POC. Your judgment is ultimately the best, because you have seen the why and what aspect of any use case. Your judgment is going to be important. AI is not going to tell you, like, whether this report or this tool or this insight is going to be useful for you as a leader. He's not going to tell, the chat GPT tool is not going to tell you that. That's you. Your judgment is going to come handy. And again, as I said, right, don't wait for anything. That's the mistake I did in my life. I waited. Nobody is going to come for rescue. uh, I did course correction. It took me 6 to 8 months time. I would probably say, there are many free tools available. ChatGPT is your best friend. Go with that. If you need help, I have classes, as I said, right? For students, I have some free classes that I conduct with my limited time. But for leaders who are interested, I personally teach them one-on-one classes. Uh, Pick up any tool, any help you need, right? I would probably say that if you want help, there are enough tools in the universe right now. You can't make that as an excuse. That's all I can think of.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Yashidan. I would add actually one point is, don't think about just business problems. I know the leader who is VP transformation in a really large organization, Global 500, right? But he told me recently that he actually really likes shoe design. And he built the tool to design shoes. It's absolutely not related to his work, right? But what was amazing for him, because this is, this is the story he tells me, because he started observing how the technology is working, right? Because, he told me, like, I created two actors, like two agents in my tool, right? And this was actually working for a couple months. But on the third month, I noticed that there is a sort agent, and I did not create the sort agent, right? So you can see, so this is the leader of a really large Fortune 500 company, right? So he is learning from his personal tool, which he not related to his job, right? Then the governance is so much needed because the sort actor entered it and he did not create this actor, right? So now when he goes back to his work in his own company, big, Fortune 500, so he can actually give his personal examples saying, guys, we're not ready to do agentic AI because you can get actors you did not create and they can get any damage to the company.
Absolutely.
So I think it's really great story. So let me give more. We can continue more the conversation here, right? But I want to give our audience more resources, right? And this is not the last conversation Yashodhan and myself having. So we are planning to think about some master classes and maybe like more deep dive. And because Yashodhan is actually an expert in commercial and sales. And sales AI is so important right now. Every company have a sales team, right? So, and how you can move the sales team to the future. So first of all, follow on LinkedIn, right? So you can follow myself, follow Yashodhan Dori on LinkedIn. So then just a reminder about my book. So I'm so appreciative of 400 leaders who already have it. Looking forward for your feedback. It does have a lot of good questions, how to interact with boards and what questions you should be asking to make sure that your AI is built for the future and have right risk management in place. And the last reminder, which I already told you, if you didn't have a chance to watch this session right now, it is available recorded via YouTube channel. The channel is called AI Oversight 360. So you can follow and you can listen in any time. So Yashodhan, what else you want to add before we finish?
First of all, I want to say thank you. This is great. I'm going to say to the audience that please don't wait. Pick up any passion project that you have. There are a lot of tools available. Give back, to community. Again, going back to your slides, right? So you got to have that mindset. You create your community, and you got to have the tools. Tools are through AI. Community, get support from community. Also, give back to community. As a personal leader in the space, I've started giving back to community. I've started a couple of scholarships in the local schools where people actually build something, and amazingly these students have started building something. And this is something which I want to tell to everyone. If students 16 17 years old students are building something, you can. There are tools available, there is support available. Find your community, do something for humanity, and forget about humanity, at least do it for personally for you. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining. Have a wonderful time. Bye.
Bye.